Goma has been overshadowed by the discovery of close to or more than 300 Romanian mercenaries who are recruited to fight on the side of the army in the DRC. The mercenaries' surrender following a rebel assault on the eastern city of Goma has also shattered the dreams of most of these fighters, these mercenaries, for the job to earn big money. According to some reports, it shows that these foreign fighters were hired and were being paid around $5,000 a month, while the regular Congolese military recruits get around $100, or sometimes they go unpaid for months. And I'll be talking about this later in these videos. Let's talk about the mercenaries. With nowhere else to retreat to, the mercenaries handed themselves over to the United Nations peacekeeping troops in Goma, who then arranged for their transit back to Romania through the neighboring Rwanda. And one of them said that he was finally relieved that he was going home after 2 years fighting in Congo. And he said that he was devastated because of the war between the Rwandans and the Congolese. He went ahead to say that the M23 rebels were supported by troops and also state-of-the-art military equipment from Rwanda, and they managed to reach the positions of the mercenaries around the city of Goma. So his name was Konstantin Timofti. Another one said that the Congolese army is one of the worst, poorly trained, poorly equipped military that they have ever come across. He says that the commanders and the officers of the Congolese army needed to be retrained because they had no idea what they were doing. They were just confused, and the troops at the front line lacked equipment and resources. That is what he said, and I'm going to play that clip right now. This is when he was in Rwanda speaking to some journalists there.
How did you find the Congolese army?
At the beginning, we feel okay. They need a lot of training and to gain experience, maturity. First, they need maturity because it's a lack of. And
Democratic Republic of Congo, where Rwandan-backed M23 rebels are battling government forces for control of the strategic city of Goma. Reports indicate thousands of Rwandan troops may have entered the region, heightening fears of a broader regional conflict. With South Africa playing a key role in African peacekeeping efforts and President Cyril Ramaphosa already engaging in diplomatic talks with Rwanda's Paul Kagame, what influence can Pretoria bring to the table? And what does this crisis mean for regional stability, trade, and South Africa's role in African diplomacy? Bloomberg reporters Simon Marks and Michael Kavanagh, who's covered the region for 20 years, joined Jennifer Sabasaja to explain who the key players in the conflict are, what chance there is for a ceasefire, and the risk this could spread into a wider regional conflict. Let's listen in.
Coming up on Network Africa, DRC troops allegedly surrendered to M23 rebels as the rebels sent dozens of purported Romanian mercenaries back home. M23 rebels in DR Congo vowed to march all the way to the capital, Kinshasa. Plus, as civil war continues in Sudan, the UN World Food Programme attempts to expand humanitarian assistance to millions more people. Hello and welcome to the program today. I'm Layo Olarinde in Lagos, Nigeria. We begin with the Democratic Republic of Congo. M23 rebels in Goma have rounded up hundreds of Congolese soldiers, members of government-allied militias, and police officers into trucks. An M23 spokesperson who claimed the troops had surrendered said they are transporting them to an undisclosed location where they would be integrated into their ranks. He adds that soldiers who no longer want to fight would be allowed to return to civilian life, but some...
And how do we, leaders of our own countries, accept this to go on forever and just accept that we shall be manipulated by Tshisekedi or whoever is supporting him?
if you are going to fire, we'll take it as a declaration of war, and we'll have to defend our people. And that's when the firing also stopped.
This is how Felix Tshisekedi is fueling a possible military war between South Africa and Rwanda. What began as a peacekeeping mission in the volatile Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo has now morphed into a geopolitical minefield, threatening to ignite a full-scale conflict between South Africa and Rwanda. And at the center of this firestorm stands DRC's President Felix Tshisekedi. The unraveling crisis was triggered by South Africa's military deployment under the Southern African Development Community mission in the DRC, sent to neutralize the ever-menacing M23 rebels who have long wreaked havoc in eastern Congo. South African soldiers quickly found themselves under relentless fire. Bullets, grenades, and missiles replaced diplomacy, turning the mission into a battle for survival. The situation took a dramatic turn when at least 13 South African soldiers were killed in combat, with harrowing footage surfacing of South African troops waving a white flag, a universal signal of surrender.
So surrender ka jam jacket with.
Only one material white flag.
As the dust settled, the question emerged: who was responsible for this bloodshed? South African President Cyril Ramaphosa wasted no time in pointing the finger squarely at Rwandan President Paul Kagame, accusing him of arming and financing the M23 rebels, the very force the South African army was sent to crush. Through his Minister of Defense, Ramaphosa didn't miss words, declaring that the blood of the fallen South African soldiers was now on Kagame's hands, and warning that military retaliation was on the table.
There's also discussions which include Rwanda, because it is alleged to be also one of the big perpetrators, and that's why we're keeping communications with them, and they've been friendly. There's been no hostility between us. It's just that at that stage when they were firing above our